All right. We deserve more. We kind of are dressed alike. What I want you to notice is his belt as opposed to my belt. Braided belts are, yeah, they are. Totally. Yeah, that's what I've heard. All right, so we're gonna kind of keep on this exact same track, this thought leadership track. Think outside the funnel. All right, so when you saw this, and maybe what you're thinking right this second, like, what's a funnel to you? Like, what's your first thought? Feel free to say it. Sales funnel. When you say a sales funnel, what do you think of? Prospects. All right. So you're thinking of it from what you need to do. We need to think about the consumer. What's a consumer's sales process? What's a consumer's funnel? And I'm going to give you something kind of funny. If you look at this photo, so I run this stuff by my wife and my children. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. So that's my audience to practice, by the way. So I put videos in this because my kids like it, and I know you'll like videos because I do too. But when you look at this, I'm doing this, like, plan prep with my wife, and she just looks at this photo and she's like, had a weird look. I'm like, what? She goes, it kind of looks like underwear. Yeah, you're right. So you can think of that throughout the process while I'm thinking about you and your underwear to make this kind of an easy, comfortable conversation. All right, so the majority of marketing conversations, we always talk about just like the very, very bottom of the funnel, right? Like when you go to talk to a customer and they go, what's your number one lead source? Google. They just say Google. It's our website or Google, right? So majority of marketing conversations, they're just about the very, very last thing that happens. But we need to talk about the entire process. So let's go back 25, 30 years. Those of you that have been in this industry for a long time, is it really that different than what the yellow pages were? If you really think about it, if you had a conversation 20 years ago with an advertiser and they said our number one lead source is the yellow pages, is that the only thing that they did? Of course not. What made them pick up the book? What drove them to opening the phone book to find whatever they need? It's the exact same conversation we have to have with Google. What made them decide to use that search engine? All right, so I'm going to introduce a new word to you, maybe. Has anyone ever heard this word? Okay, so a monopoly. We all know what a monopoly is, and I think it's safe to assume that Google is easily a monopoly. A monopsony is an economy in which there is one buyer and many, many sellers, controlled by one. Google. This stat just came out this morning. I didn't get a chance to throw it in this slide. 94% of all searches are Google-based platforms. 94%. So Google, Google Images, YouTube. So 94%. Just think about that for a second. That's insane. But they're looking for something. So I'll give you some numbers here too. Google search finished last year at $27 billion in revenue. YouTube, I think this is the first year, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first year they actually split these two out. YouTube finished at $15 billion in revenue. That's more than the entire radio industry nationwide, just in YouTube. There's over 20 million premium subscribers. And then YouTube TV, little subset, no one's really talking about it, making an impact, has 2 million subscribers, a little bit more than 2 million right now. So this is where it gets interesting. Over 50% of all Google search results never leave Google. We need to talk about this with our customers. 50% are zero-click searches. They wanted to find something, they found it, they left. 45% searches with organic clicks. That's our territory. And then 4.42% are searches with ad clicks. 4.42%. I am not anti-pay-per-click, by the way. But let's think about that. What drives the traffic? There's some changes that are obviously occurring. We're searching differently. I mentioned earlier I have a 7 and a 9-year-old. When you look up their search history, it's really comical. Like, hey Google, like, how long does an armadillo live? You know, that was earlier this weekend. They got their answer, right? And with voice search, we're going to see some changes. We're going to start to see a little bit a different approach to how people are looking for the answers that they want. There's another big change that's occurring right now. Data. Between the California Consumer Privacy Act, GDPR that's happening in Europe, cookies and tracking, it's changing as we speak. So we have to be very conscious of that process and what you can do to put people into that funnel. This is an excerpt from Facebook. This was released in Facebook's approach to marketing this year, okay? So left-hand side of the screen, this is what they used to talk about. So social, it's data-led, micro-targeting, right down to the very specific niche that we found our exact consumer. Small campaigns, one-off posts, very micro, right? Now, I believe this has a little bit to do with this data issue. This is what they're saying. This is the right way to use social platforms. Target broader audiences. Consumers spend their time there. This is ultimately turning into a reach platform. And there's even a little missing phrase in that mass reach 40% at a 1 to 2 times week. You know what they're modeling? Broadcast television. It's a reach medium. And because the data may or may not be as accessible, reach. All right, so let's talk about how to think outside the funnel, how to put people in the marketplace, and how to ultimately give them what they're looking for. Organic, direct traffic, that 45%. How do we get people to go to somebody's website? How do we get them to call? There's really two thought processes here. So we have data-driven decisions, and that big bold word on top, attribution, is like the sexy word of end of 2019 going into 2020. Everywhere I go, I get to hear attribution, attribution, attribution. It's not new, been around forever, just a new concept, maybe some new products that you guys have. There's last touch attribution, which Google gets all the credit for. Correlation, ACR, cookies. Data is fantastic, and it needs to be part of the process. And then there's creative executions, to Roland's point, thinking about creative differently. I just happen to like this commercial, so we're going to run this one as an example of really good, witty humor.
Oh, look at this guy. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Look at these two troublemakers.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car. Is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me pack it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Pack.
Smart pack.
Just hit the clicker. Car packs itself.
It's smart.
It's wicked smart. And I can pack it anywhere.
How about Dorchester?
Packed it.
Foxborough.
Packed it.
The garden?
Packed it.
Saugus?
Packed it.
Swampscott?
Revere?
The harbor?
Are you kidding me? I packed it and then unpacked it.
You unparked it?
Kid.
Game changer.
That Sonata ain't got no driver.
That's all right. He's got smart park.
Hey, you can back there.
He's got smart pack!
Hey, whoa, it's Big Poppy.
Wicked smart.
This is a ghost car.
A better way to park, only available on the all-new Sonata with remote smart parking assist.
Sorry about that, your bigness. Did you guys know he lived there?
I had no idea.
Great creative. I'm assuming you all saw it. You were of the 70+% that watched the Super Bowl. All right, so here's kind of the thought process to look at these two approaches, right? So data-driven, it may lack the creative execution. I'm going to probably speak for my colleagues and just maybe think about this in the conversation. We get to go to a meeting with you, and you talk about this is going to be a really good digital prospect, and we're going to use geofencing, and we're going to use this, and we're going to use this, and we're going to take all of these tactics, products, and we go, okay, and what's the plan? What's the creative? What's the thing? What are they trying to accomplish? Oh, I don't know. but it's really going to work well. Right. And then there's creative. And then, you know, to Roland's point earlier, that was great creative, but does it work? You have to find the marriage between the two. So I'm gonna walk you through, I chose some national brands because you're so familiar with these. We're gonna look at some creative. I'm gonna tell you a couple stories with these particular national brands, and then we'll kind of segue to some local examples. These brands, by the way, are all less than 10 years old. These are all fairly new brands.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
All right, so again, just really fun and creative. This company has been around for less than 10 years. Have you heard of it? You know who Dollar Shave Club is, right? All right, so how did they start? They started micro. They started very small social media campaigns, really, really fun, witty, creative. And then they grew, and they went to mass scale reach. They're interrupting or just disrupting an industry that hasn't been touched. They're putting people into the market for this particular product. This particular product in 2016 was purchased by their biggest competitor, Unilever, for $1 billion cash. How'd they do it? They told people about it. It's not at the very bottom of the funnel. It's not a, hey, I need new razors. Tell people about it. Guess what happens? They look for it. Another example.
It's not always easy sharing a bed. Kat Damon here likes a firm mattress, while Sir Francis prefers a little more bounce. But the sweet couple can both be happy on a Casper, with its perfect balance of soft and supportive foams. Francis,
So Casper started in 2014. It's new. They have over 200 retail locations, brick and mortar retail locations. They have over 2,000 retail partners, including Target. They just went public last week. And I know the earnings weren't, they're not that good. It's a different business model. But how do we know about it? Lynn's going to go into some more detail on this in her Amazon piece tomorrow, I believe. But here's an interesting stat. 45% of all mattresses were sold online last year. They're just one of them. There's multiple. I'm going to give you one more example of a national brand.
Prescription eyewear can be really expensive, but here's a secret. Glasses don't actually cost that much to make. Surprise! Especially when you design your own eyewear and then sell it directly to your customers, like we do. Oh, hi, we're Warby Parker. Our glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses. And the best part? You can try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com.
Started in 2010. Brick and mortar retailer. The commercial, that one specifically, kind of sounds like a good local one, doesn't it? You have an iMart Express in your marketplace? Kind of sounds similar. They're telling people about their brand, and they're inviting people to discover them, to prefer them. It goes back to this stat. 50%. All right, so how do you approach this how do you do this with your local clients? There's a stigma, and I'm going to go right off Roland's gusto there in the intro, about the ESA model. Okay, so, and I probably say this a lot in the stations I work, so I apologize if this feels redundant, but I do the ESA thing. Yeah, we're stacking. Like, okay, that takes like 4 minutes to explain. That's not the ESA thing. The ESA thing is thought leadership. What we do, what we advise on, what we help clients understand is how to be visible, create awareness, have strong creative that has an invitation aspect to it, solve a problem for the consumer. A lot of the creatives that we write, I follow this principle of symptom, solution, solicitation. Be really direct about your messaging. Jody brought this up, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, but I think it's really critical just for you to think about when you meet with your clients. If the average search is for a problem, so for example, plumber near me. I have a problem, but I don't really have a preference in who's going to serve my problem. The alternative to that, or what organic direct search traffic is the provider, or the solution to my problem.
However you tailgate, Superior Automotive Group in Siloam Springs has the tailgate for you. For hunting with your best friend, for a little fun, for working hard, for adventure, and of course, for tailgating. We've got more tailgates than anyone else and from the brands you love, all in one location. Ram, Chevrolet, GMC, Jeep, and Ford. Find your tailgate at Superior Automotive Group in Siloam Springs. Faster, simpler, and more transparent. Superior.
So this is a local commercial. This is a 14 rooftop dealer. I wanted to share that creative with you because it's interesting. It's a little bit different. They obviously have a niche there that a lot of dealers can't do. They have all of the national brands in one location. This is clearly not co-op. It wouldn't be approved, right? What they want is they want to capitalize on the truck market. So these particular points, they're actually an outlier. These 3 rooftops of the 14 are a destination. So we wanted to drive traffic to this particular destination because we can all buy a car online. That's how we do it. That's how we research. That's our process. But they wanted to show people you can come check out every vehicle. Every one of them. We have them in this one location. So to give you some statistics on, this is one of about 15 different styles of creative that we run. We obviously run it more of a call to action, incentive-based campaign along with it. But I wanted to share this one because this is not a bottom funnel message. This is maybe somebody's in the market for a Chevrolet. They're looking at a Silverado. And all of a sudden they see a message like this, and this could be on television, it could be through streaming platforms, it could be on social media. It's not the platform, it's the message. And so what this does is it makes them go, I can go check out the truck there, but I'm also a little bit curious about the Ford. And by the way, I think Adam's going to go into a lot of detail on automotive. I'm going to do an automotive breakout later today. I think it's interesting. I wanted to share this particular piece because this is the first year in history, 2019 was, that GM was surpassed in the truck row. Ram surpassed GM sales. And this particular dealer, all 3 of the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer, the Chevrolet dealer, and the Ford dealer had record year in sales. The CDJR dealer was up 12% year over year, and last year was their best year ever. So thinking a little bit above that funnel when it comes to inviting on this particular platforms. I'm going to show you a medical one as well.
One of the best parts of my job is the reactions we get when our patients are done with their smile makeover.
I felt 20 years younger. It was a wonderful experience.
Get a new smile in just 2 weeks without braces or surgery.
When I'm seeing myself on camera now, I am much happier with the way my teeth look.
Get $2,500 off and payments as low as $199 per month. Call the Cosmetic Dentist of Austin today at 512-333-7777.
Every time I go to Austin, we meet with like probably 2 or 3 dentists every trip, it feels like. We're putting people into the marketplace, right? Are they looking actively through Google search for cosmetic implants? Maybe, but this just put people into the marketplace for a couple different reasons. Perceived value, price, urgency, time, different approach. And one last one for you to look at.
That's my new car. And Rivermark made it fast, easy, and secure to apply and sign online so I can get back to the more important things in life.
Auto loans from 1.99 APR. Rivermark Community Credit Union. Banking that's always on.
Just another example of someone who's in the market for an automotive, but maybe they weren't sure where they're going to get their financing, right? So here's what it comes back to. Data provides that map. Creative executions are the key to that full funnel process. You need to bring both. You have to bring both. And here's the underwear funnel for one last visual. The ESA model is not stacking. It's maybe a process that we're going to talk through with your customers, but the ESA model is bringing awareness, profit margins, direct leads, all the things that have to do with success in marketing. So next time when you do the, hey, I'm doing the ESA thing, just think about that, okay? I'm going to invite up Adam to introduce our first guest speaker.